I'm Gary from Paddleboard Specialist, and I want to talk to you this morning about the Coreban 14-foot racer in the carbon Kevlar construction silver colorway. It's a really beautiful board, and we took it out and paddled it against our benchmark board in this category, the Bark Dominator, last weekend. We had a really fun time with both boards. First, I want to show you some of the features on this board, and then we'll talk about the differences between this board and the Dominator. First of all, it's got a lightly cut out standing area, and it also tapers down to the tail, so there's never any water that hangs out in the standing area. It all flushes back towards the back. It also comes with this foam pad, which is designed to mount in front of the standing area to prevent water from getting into the standing area when you're doing a downwind run. We were in only a chop up to about a foot high, so I wasn't having much water come up over the bow, so I did not install this yet. The bow of the Coreban is significantly different than the Dominator. It does have a full V in the front, but it's got a fair amount of curve to it, whereas the Dominator is quite flat. When I first got it in the water, I was surprised how much of the V was actually in the water. And my first impression is that the board was very, very slippery, accelerated very, very quickly. I haven't paddled too many 14s that felt as slippery as this one in the water. Another thing I want to point out on the bottom of the board, the fin box location is pretty far forward, much farther forward than that of the Dominator, which aids in its maneuverability, but also clearly takes away some from its straight line tracking. I could not go as many strokes per side on the Coreban as I can go on the Dominator. Another element I want to mention is in this construction, this board's really light, about the same weight as the Dominator. 25 pounds, 10 ounces on our postal scale. The other thing I want to point out about the bottom, you can see that the rails are quite vertical, but there's a fair amount of curve and tuck, and then a clearly defined release edge going back on the board. So the actual surface that's in the water on this board is quite a bit less than the Bark. And when I first stood on it, I could feel a little bit of wobbliness, which went away as soon as I put the board under power. When we were going across the lake, we had about a 15-mile-an-hour side wind, so the swell's coming this way, and we're going straight across this way. I had to pay a little more attention on this board. I had to be a little more focused, really keep my stroke going. Never had a problem getting wet, but I had to pay more attention on this board than I would have on the Dominator. So in summary, I really, really liked it. It's one of the most slippery 14s I've paddled. It's very light and very responsive on the water, also very stiff. It's a good all-around choice, and it may be, in some conditions, in choppier conditions, particularly going upwind, with its more surf ski-shaped bow, it may actually be preferable to the Dominator. It'd be hard to go wrong with this board. I also want to briefly show you the pure version of this, which is a wood sandwich construction that's over here in our rack. That's this one right here. It's exactly the same shape in a more stout construction that weighs about 7 or 8 pounds more. Also does not have that front EVA pad, which is to keep the water running off to the sides installed, but does come with it. Just wanted to show you a clear and quick comparison of the bows of the Dominator and the Coreban side by side. You can see that the Coreban has quite a bit more rocker, and you're going to have a few inches of the bow that are not in the water until you get into rougher conditions. And then the Dominator, of course, has Battle of the Paddle style square tail. And the Coreban has a pintail. Also wanted to show you the fin box location. It's quite a bit farther forward on the Coreban than on the Bark. And last, I wanted you to see the difference in the rail configuration.